Morning. So my name is Amy. I'm the founder of Conscious Kitchens, a food safety and zero waste consultancy. I studied environmental health and became an EHO, an environmental health officer, inspecting restaurants, cafes, takeaways. And through the course of my career, I inspected probably thousands of restaurants at this stage. And as a result of that, I decided I wanted to use my experience in a different way to empower food business operators, take the fear out of inspection time, and really support them. Alongside that, I'm ridiculously passionate about waste, so I wanted to show them how to break up with the general waste bin and save a lot of money in the process. So that's primarily what I'm going to speak to you about today. I think if I went around the room, it's great to see so many people here. Like, if I asked each of you what sustainability means to you, we'd have 50 odd different responses. And I think the context of what we're speaking about at the time is really important. So I look at it in kind of three tiers. The sustainability associated with the environment is, we're all very aware of that, how to protect our natural habitats and surroundings and the impact that we're having on the environment. But then you've got sustainable economies. So like the towns that we all live in, the communities that we all take part in, they have to be able to not only survive but thrive. And then the businesses within those communities are crucially important for those communities. Each of those businesses can implement some very practical behaviour changes to ensure that they are sustainable businesses then as a result. Waste is one of the key pillars when it comes to sustainability, and that's the kind of the slice of the pie that I like to concentrate on. So to give you an idea of, because it's not something that we pay much attention to, so like waste is the biggest contributor to it. It comes from the residential sector at 35%. Industrial and commercial would contribute something similar in the region of 25% each. And I'm going to focus on the commercial slice there. So sustainability in Malahide. So Malahide is a large number of local businesses, and approximately 18% of those businesses are food related. And this also makes Malahide a very popular tourist destination. We've some remarkable food businesses that have proven to be pillars of the community for a very long time, such as Gibney's and The Orchid and Duffy's, and it's great to see that they're still going strong today. So supporting and maintaining the food businesses is definitely vital for our local community. And a goal for Conscious Kitchens today is to make Malahide one of the first zero-to-landfill towns in Ireland, and I really hope to achieve that. Last year, the EPA did a study on general waste bins, and they found that, so we're all familiar with the big 1100 litre bin that we see at the side of the buildings. They found that 37% of the waste in those bins could have actually gone into your recycling bin, 32% of it could have gone into organic waste, 26% of that was likely meant to go into that general waste bin. So you can see there's a very quick win there, which I love to teach on. That if you just segregate properly, that very costly general waste bin could be reduced dramatically. So I'm kind of charging through this, I'm not going to be 10 minutes at all. The Conscious Kitchens approach. So this is how I take a business through the zero to landfill journey. And initially I'm going to get in there and have a look at the infrastructure and what waste is being created and generated on site. It's an inherent part of our businesses, so I want to help you understand what waste you're generating in the first place. The next step is to segregate and eliminate. So this is where, don't be surprised if you see me digging in some bins nearby. It's kind of a favourite pastime now. And at that moment then I can really see what waste, like are you a victim of that previous lie? Like, are you not segregating correctly? And again, then that's the behaviour change that I can teach and that you can learn. At that point, we'll also find some things that we can eliminate from the waste streams altogether that you don't need to be, bringing into your business, and that's again another quick win. When it comes to alternatives, a great example of this is breaking up with cling film for a food business. So the alternative to that is just lids. and just having enough of them. So you can find those opportunities within your business. And anything that's left, that is what has to go into the general waste. And fingers crossed, there's very little of that. So I'd like to show you some really good case studies that I have. Some of them are local, some of them are a little bit further away, but they are very impressive numbers, to be fair. So Old Street in Malahide, they had 44% of their overall waste was going to general waste. And we managed to divert 100% of their waste from going to landfill. That equates to 29 tonnes of waste per annum for one business, and a saving of over €2,000 a year, which is not to be sniffed at. We found when I started with them initially, tea lights was like one of the main things like that kept coming up for the general waste, because the wax is still in the little foil, so it's contaminated. So they decided to move away to the LED rechargeable lights, and to be fair, they actually add so much to the restaurant. They're really lovely. So that was an interesting one with them. You might be familiar with Yamamori in town, a very famous Japanese restaurant, and 80% of their cost was general waste. And so far, we have managed to divert 76% of their waste from going to landfill, which we're still going to build on that number. And that equates to 75 tonnes. I'll give you an idea of how busy they are, but that number in itself is huge for one business, and saving over €8,000 a year. To understand their bins a bit better and their business a bit better, I actually carried out a plate waste study, and this is where my little bit of creative side comes out. So I spent a whole week in there taking photographs of all the plates that came back from the tables to find some sort of a trend that was popping up that they could then make the change in the kitchen to improve on that. And some of the main offenders were rice, given the nature of their business, and broths. So there was a lot of soupy kind of things coming back. So there wasn't much to achieve with that, but certainly they could then reduce the portion size for the rice, and garnishes was also a big thing for them. So making a garnish on your plate more useful, more practical, it's something that can be consumed as opposed to something that's there just to make the plate look pretty. Portmarnock Golf Club coming a bit closer to home again. So 75% of their cost was going to general waste, and we've so far diverted 56% of their waste from going to landfill. That equates to 52 tonnes. So you can see the tonnes are adding up pretty quick here across a few businesses, and that's a saving of more than €5,000 a year. And I know they can improve on that even more. I needed to understand, they have slightly different collection schedules, and every business does. So I needed to understand their bins better. So in the month of August, I carried out a bin observation study where I actually took photographs of their bins every single day. And then I was able to compare one day with the previous day to understand how they were using it. And immediately I could see that the reliance on the general waste bin it dropped off a cliff. It was brilliant. Because they implemented the behaviour change, which meant that they were actually getting the benefits. To show you that this doesn't just apply to food businesses, I've got Malahide Marina Crash down in the marina, and naturally this business is going to have some waste that must go to landfill, nappies, wipes, etc. But 72% of their costs when I joined them was all attributed to general waste, and so far they've cut that by almost half. So 46% of their general waste was diverted from landfill. 12 tonnes of waste now has been, that equates to 12 tonnes of waste, and a saving of more than €1,000 a year. And then Puck Burger, so I think we're all familiar with them up at the leisure centre. So Avian had 42% of her costs were attributed to general waste, and we were able to cut out 89% of that. That equated to 24 tonnes for a small food truck, and a saving of more than €3,000. So that in the last 12 months, I'm very proud to say that just with 10 small SMEs, we've managed to divert more than 250 tonnes of waste from landfill. So asking you the question, are you going to contribute to that next truckload?